Episode: Recruiting Women in Technology at the Grace Hoppers Conference. I had transferred into the HoloLens division, leaving Xbox. In one of my first Directors of HoloLens meetings, the Vice President, VP in charge, turned to me, and he asked, with a very leading question, if I would like to go to the Grace Hoppers Women in Technology Conference. It was obvious. The VP thought he was foisting a crap job onto me. No one apparently wanted to go to a Women in Tech conference, much less try and recruit women at the conference. Well, I surprised everyone, and I answered, my team is comprised of 40% women already. I would love to get a 50-50 male-female split. I have always hired females over males when they otherwise had equivalent qualifications. I would love to attend the Grace Hoppers Women in Technology Conference, I asserted. Well, my peer group directors were surprised that I did not have to be voluntold, as apparently they would have to have been directively told to do so. They were dismayed that I volunteered happily without needing to be directed by the VP. I guess I was a gift horse, and they felt great, sold, it's all yours. And so, their hot potato of recruiting women into technology fell into my lap. I was there at the Grace Hoppers Conference when the newly appointed Microsoft Chief Executive Officer, CEO Satya Nadella, spoke at the Grace Hoppers Women in Tech Conference. And he put his foot in his mouth, unfortunately. Satya told an otherwise inspirational story of pushing hard to climb upward in corporations and technologies. He described that people, including women, should not ask for raises or promotions. Instead, they should just work hard and have faith in the right thing happening and for being recognized for their talent and value. I believe the exact quote that Satya was considered to be saying that was bad is as follows, quote, "It's not really about asking for the raise, but knowing and having faith that the system will actually give you the right raises as you go along. That's good karma. It will come back. That's the kind of person that I want to trust, that I want to give more responsibility to." Well, you can see, Satya seemed to ignore some notable things, such as women faced glass ceilings. Women were paid less than men on average for similar work. Male-dominated hiring managers often hired men in preference to women. Unofficial reasons for reluctance to hire women often were they go on maternity leave. They may have to deal with childcare and affect their schedule. They might have additional duties as homemakers. They might be a feminist. They could rock the boat. They're often more emotional than men. They're not usually as technical than men. Now let me say, every one of those could have been a man too. They're all BS. The only change is maternity leave is paternity leave. So again, this is wrong and inappropriate thinking. Another choice male-dominated hiring managers make is to hire women into trial or starter roles, which forever starts them on a rung or two below their equivalent talented male colleagues. As you can see, there are really insidious ways that people suppress women's opportunity or rate of progression and promotion in advancement. And yet Satya did not recognize that. So anyway, Satya gave no airtime to the notion that gender played a role in recognition and opportunity. Although some women may feel empowered, being one of a few women in an ocean of men within big tech companies because they have been so male-dominated for so long, for decades, seemingly forever, it can be scary, intimidating. Imagine being the only woman in a meeting of a dozen or more people, or being the only woman in a group of meetings of 50 or more men. There are all sorts of subtle but emotional things bearing down on us all the time. And being a minority compounds that. You might feel threatened. It might be harder to speak up and challenge someone. It might be difficult to take a stand. In fact, there is emotional fear. It can make someone feel less inclined to ask for a raise or even a different assignment. I sincerely doubt that most people think about the challenges that face women in tech to just do their jobs, never mind fair compensation and opportunities. Perhaps, truly the only time in my entire life that I felt like the extreme minority was at the Grace Hopper's Women in Technology conference. There may have been a few dozen men amidst thousands of women at the Grace Hopper's conference. There could have been tens of thousands of women at that conference. I recall riding an escalator downward and seeing below only women, and riding down and up the escalator later, only women. In conference sessions, only women. In concession lines for snacks and lunch, only women. All right, there were, like I said, a few dozen men throughout the conference. So there were sometimes not only women. In that case, then it was virtually only women. I was surprised to feel a little weird being in an ocean of no men. It was not bad. It was not good. It just was. Never have I ever felt so much in an ocean that felt off. I suppose I could relate to how it might be to be a woman in technology working in oceans of men, much like I was presenting and interviewing at Grace Hopper's Oceans of Women conference. In the end, there should be both women and men in work and home, period. I will share some stories during my visit at the Grace Hopper's Women in Tech conference. So, let me share the results from the conference. The few of us that attended managed to hire over a dozen women. A few hires went straight to full-time employment, but most of the hires were interns, with a plan to convert to full-time employment when they graduated from university, because again, they were still in school. One engineer that we hired, named Haley, she joined our team as an intern, and later, upon graduation, she joined our team as a full-time employee. She was a phenomenal engineer and someone that proved me right, once again, that women can be absolutely awesome in technology and in video game development.